After I researched Christianity for hundreds and hundreds of hours and realized it was all complete and utter bullshit, I still wasn't an atheist. I was far from an atheist because I wanted to believe that God still exists. I wanted to believe it with all my heart. So I set out to figure out which religion was true. So the first thing I did was go research the second major religion, Islam. Of course, being an American, I've heard lots and lots of bad things about Islam since 9/11. But I was thinking to myself, I've been lied to ever since I was born about Christianity. Maybe they're lying to me about Islam. Maybe Islam is the world's one true religion. So I went out for myself to study it to see if Islam really is true or not. And if you'll go out and study it, you'll find out exactly what I found out. And this is what Muslims actually teach and believe. Muhammad was a 26-year-old illiterate camel merchant who decided he wanted to go up to a cave all by himself so nobody else could see and pray and meditate. While he was up in this cave all by himself so nobody else could see, he claims that the angel Gabriel came to him and revealed the Quran to him. And of course Muhammad was illiterate, so he couldn't write any of the shit down that Gabriel was telling him. So Gabriel had to come back over and over again for 23 years and repeat the shit to him over and over again and make him memorize it. And then Muhammad had to go down and repeat the shit to other people and make them memorize it. So somebody else who could actually write could eventually write the shit down. That makes perfect sense. So God, the all-powerful, all-knowing, smartest being ever created, decided he wasn't just going to beam the message into Muhammad's brain. He wasn't going to write it down for him. He wasn't going to give him a bunch of glowing tablets that could show everybody that it really was from God. Or instead of beaming this very important message into every human being's mind at the same time, or at least beaming it into the head of somebody who could actually fucking write, no, God has a much better plan than that. He has a much smarter plan than that. He's going to send an angel to recite the shit to Muhammad over and over again for 23 fucking years so Muhammad can tell somebody else and they can eventually write it down. Because that makes a lot of fucking sense. So immediately, this whole thing sounds like fucking bullshit, just like Christianity did. I felt like I was trading one bullshit religion for another bullshit religion. But I was still really open-minded, so I went to some Muslims and I asked them, this story sounds like complete bullshit, how do you know it's true? And their response is exactly the same response you will get if you will go ask Muslims this question. And I swear to God, this is what they actually claim. They claim that the Quran is so amazingly written that it could not possibly have been written by a man. They claim that the writing is so fucking mind-blowing incredible that only God himself could have written it. And when I heard that, I was like, holy shit, dude, I have to fucking read this book. This must be the greatest book ever written, man. This must be one motherfucking page-turner. In fact, if it's as good as they say it is, I don't see how Muslims ever stop reading the goddamn thing. It just seems like they would read it page after page, never sleeping or eating or drinking or putting it down, starting back over again when they finished it, until eventually they just died of fucking awesomeness. And all the Muslims I talk to seem to do other shit besides just read the Quran all day, so apparently it's not that good. But anyway, after all that hype, I knew I had to read this shit for myself. So I went out and got me a copy of the Quran. And you know what I found out? It's just a bunch of weird symbols and squiggly lines. It doesn't make any fucking sense at all. Alright, obviously I'm just kidding. I actually did go out and get me an English version of the Quran, and I read the whole thing myself. And here's my honest opinion about it. The Quran, in a nutshell, is like a bunch of retarded monkeys in ancient times got together and had a really lame version of Russell Simmons' Def Poetry Jam. It's just a bunch of really fucking lame poetry that's really repetitive over and over and over again. I mean, seriously, it's like a special needs 12-year-old decided to make a poetry version of the Bible. It's that bad. Now, don't get me wrong, it was better than Twilight, of course. Everything's better than Twilight. But it was no Stephen King or anything. I mean, it was definitely not the fucking greatest book ever written. Not even close. So for you Muslims to make the claim that we should believe all the obvious bullshit fairy tales told by Muhammad, just because this book is so awesomely written, it's laughable. Nobody would take you guys seriously ever. They would just ignore you like the fucking morons you are if it wasn't for the fact that you strap bombs to your chest and fly planes into buildings. That's the only reason that anybody, and I mean anybody on earth, takes your mentally retarded bullshit seriously. And I'm not saying that I'm the greatest writer on the face of the earth or anything. I'm not saying that at all. But I could have easily have churned out the Quran in 5 or 6 months tops. I mean, especially if you consider the fact that it's mostly just a rip-off of the Bible anyway. The fact that it took Muhammad 23 years to come up with this ridiculous bullshit is actually pretty embarrassing. If you ask me, there's only one logical explanation. I think Muhammad might have been retarded. And that, in a nutshell, is why I'm not a Muslim. I'm simply not retarded enough. For the Cult of Dusty, I am Dusty Smith, and as always, I'm slapping bullshit's ass with my logic.